Hi Joey. Hi Val. Can you hear the audio okay? Is the audio okay at the minute? Hi Sophia. Just getting a few things sorted out here, guys. Um, Better. Can everybody hear okay? Right. Okay, Joey. So everything's okay in terms of the audio and the video quality. Because I've got these lights are really bright, and the last stream that I done, it was kind of like just an off the cuff thing. But when it went up onto YouTube, the quality was like really low. I mean, like these camcorders and stuff like that I'm using are 1080p and stuff. But for some reason, it when it recorded it and it went up live. Hi, Steve. It was at like 460 or something like that. So the quality was really low. So I've tried to tweak about with some of the settings, and hopefully when the video stops, when the live stream stops and it goes up onto YouTube, the quality will be a little bit better. But I just have to wait and see, really. So everybody has buggered off out of the house tonight, so I'm on my own except for me and the dog. And so I thought I might as well do a live stream because I keep talking about. All right, that's okay, Val. I'm really happy to see you here. Um, yeah, so it's just me and the dog, and I just thought, you know what, I'll do a little bit of a live stream. I'll do like a Q&A if anybody wanted to ask any questions about some products that I've reviewed recently, or I have a product that I'm reviewing at the minute. I put a thing up on Instagram about it, I think. It's this new paper, but from Aliona Nicholson. It's called Lux Archival Paper. It's for colour pencil artists, and change it from what, Val? Top to bottom. I'll do that in a second. I'll have to do that in a second because I'll have to go into the settings and see if I can sort that out. Yeah, so I've been trying this Lux Archival paper from Aliona Nicholson. She has specifically kind of like put this paper together to work alongside the brush and pencil, color pencil powder blender, that type of stuff. So I've been reviewing this paper, and I'm hopefully have the review finished and up. Like I'm just writing little bits and editing the video and stuff like that, and I'll have it up soon. But it's definitely interesting. It's definitely going to be an interesting piece. I'm just going into the chat settings here to see if we can sort something out here with this. See, because I've popped it out. Do you use OBS, Val, do you? Yeah, but the last time I done the review, Val, on the OBS thing, it was all set at 1080p. That's why I don't understand why it went up at 460 and didn't go any higher than that on the review. When I was putting all the settings into OBS, it was all up at 1080. I've brought it down to 720 just in case. Just safer rather than sorry rather than safer. So but I'm just gonna have to. It'll just be a little bit of playing about. OBS drives me nuts. Yeah, I know the lights. I know if I can try bringing the lights down a little bit. That's a little bit better, isn't it? I've got another one overhead here as well. So anyway, like I was saying, that review will be going up soon of this Lux archival paper. That was a botanical piece that drew on it. I mean, it's really nice paper. It's really nice paper, but it's a bit of a learning curve. So Val, how do I change the settings on the chat here to make it go faster? Because at the minute I have the chat popped out so that it can run along the side here, and I think if I start changing settings, it might stop the stream for a second. Because on OBS, when you're recording, I don't think you can change the settings, can you? Or can I change them in YouTube? Live chat, enable live chat, yeah. Enable slow mode. Slow mode forces chat participants to wait a certain amount of time. Oh no, I don't want to do that. The only options it's given me with regards to the chat file is to obviously enable live chat, allow live chat replay, or enable slow mode. I don't want to do that because that'll slow it down. Right, I think that might be it now. For the chat. Yeah, because I'm just using OBS Studio. Hi, Sammy. What inspires me most on drawing the subjects? Colour, I think. Whenever you see, the thing is, whenever I'm doing my reviews, I've got to yeah, it's at live chat. It says live chat. Hang on a second. Yeah, it says live chat here on this. I don't know why it's still up at the top chat there. Yeah, Sammy. So whenever I'm doing my reviews and stuff like that, there's only a certain amount of leeway I have on what I can draw. So I normally try to because if I've only got like a 24 set of colours or something like that, I've got to really just do what I can. And certain like pastels and stuff like that, if I'm reviewing pastels, I can't really do it. But if I just get a chance to do my own thing, then I like to do something that's really colourful. That's why I love using markers, because I can just put the colour down, as like go crazy with the colour. And now that I've got like the full set of Copics, I like that as well. I like the ability to just be able to go in and do what I want to do without having lots of restrictions. But I've got lots of other markers that I love using as well. Hi, Tony. Right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna get started doing this drawing. And if you've got any questions or anything like that you want to ask me while I'm doing it, about any products or anything like that I've reviewed in the past or that I'm going to review, like the there was a lot of feedback on the Castle Arts review. A lot of people like those. I got a request from somebody today. They sent me a request to review this German brand of pencils, and they look a little bit like Faber-Castell. But I purchased them, and hopefully they'll be here soon. Yeah, that'd be great, Fa. Because if I start messing about with the settings now on OBS Studio, it's just gonna because I'm not 100% sure on all the settings and stuff like that. It'll turn it off. Hi, Lalil. Right, okay, so I've got my iPad here. I'm just going to start doing putting some colour down. Yeah, Val, I seen somebody. I was looking at some. I was looking at some tutorials and stuff like that on OBS, and I seen somebody talking about Streamlabs rather than just OBS Studio. But when they were bringing up the, whenever they were bringing up the, like the layout of that, it looked really complicated. It looks, I mean, like all I want to do is just do a little bit of live streaming. Because the reason why I don't get a lot of time to do this is because I've got to do all this in the living room. So I can only do it when everybody's out of the house. Otherwise I'm scuppered. Hi Crystal. I need Jason. I need Jason to sit and do all this for us while I just do drawing and talk. Because he's pretty good at doing all this live streaming stuff, isn't he? Putting all the settings in place and what have you. Hey Carolina. So I picked this drawing just because it's got loads of colour in it and stuff, and I just wanted to have something really relatively simple and easy. Yeah, that sounds good, Val. So none of you's going out tonight on a Saturday night. You're all stuck in, same as me. Everybody's out. All my kids are out. My wife's out. Yeah, definitely, Crystal. I need an assistant when it comes to these live streams. Somebody that knows what they're doing. All I want to do is draw. I can't be bothered with all this tech stuff and all this settings and bit rates and resolutions and all the rest of it. I just want to switch the camera on. That's one of the biggest problems for me doing live streams. That's one of the, apart from the fact that I do them in the living room and the kids and stuff like that make a lot of noise, but every time I switch on OBS and I start going through settings and all the rest of it, a lot of it is just pot luck, because you can't really see the end results until the live stream is finished, or unless you've got someone like Val in this stream that's, you know, giving you tips and ideas. But a lot of the time, once you start live streaming, that's it. You start messing about with the settings. I mean, well, on OBS Studio, you can't change the settings while you're recording. You've got to stop recording and then start changing the settings. So it can be a little bit frustrating. Where's all the browns? Hey, Guy. Oh, you broke your foot, Kelly? Wow. How'd you do that? It's no fun when you break a bone, like. Broke my legs a couple of times. Not at the same time. Playing football. I'm absolutely over the moon with the way Liverpool are playing at the minute. I haven't heard the result today against Southampton. I was a bit worried about this game against Southampton because Danny Ings is playing absolutely fantastic. Plus, he's an ex-Liverpool player, so I just got a funny feeling he was just going to come back and haunt us. So I'm not 100% sure what the outcome of this Southampton game was going to be. Yeah, Crystal, my little boy as well, when he was younger, he was absolutely obsessed with Woody and Buzz as well. Mind you, for some reason, when he went to bed at night, he couldn't have Woody on his bed with his hat on. He got scared. We had to take the hat off Woody. 4-0? Oh, who scored for Liverpool? That's a fantastic. Well, did Minamino get on? I can't wait to see him like burst out of his shell and start playing the way he did for Salzburg, wasn't it, I think? Yeah, we did, Val. We did that for Jude's, Woody and Buzz as well. I mean, Jude didn't ask us to do that. We just did it. Just because I wanted it to be just like the movie. Mind you, I don't really know who these toys were for more. My son or for me. Ox, Hendo and Sal off. Outstanding. Hendo's been playing amazing this year. Absolutely amazing. I mean, Klopp has really, really got the very best out of Henderson, and his leadership qualities are just outstanding as well. I said to Jude, my son, that if Liverpool won the Premiership this year, I would try and get down to Liverpool. I would try the both of us to get down to Liverpool to see the open top bus. I'd have to go and stay at a friend's house down there because I wouldn't be able to like just drive down and drive back. I'd have to get Vicky to drive and stuff. It'd be a nightmare because of my back. Gonna do the eyes here. So, see, I've got my Copic Hex chart here. And it's really addictive. I'm not too sure if you collect Copics, if you into your markers and stuff like that. You see, once you download a chart like this, that's the end of it for you, because you have this overwhelming surge to complete the chart, and so you end up buying more and more and more Copics, which is good, but it has the potential to financially ruin you. Yeah, Crystal. Well, no, I'm going to be using Prismacolor pencils as well, because I find that when I'm doing work on Copics, the paper has got to be really smooth. It's got to be quite a smooth paper, and not a lot of colored pencils work well on really super smooth paper. So, but soft core pencils like Prismacolor, I find work really well on them. And once you start putting down the marker, the pencil lays on top of that really quite well. He needs to bring. I think he needs to bring him on to give him a bit more gameplay. Yeah, Crystal, very much so. Full set syndrome. It's definitely not a good syndrome to have. Okay, so what I'm doing here at the minute, in case if you're interested, is doing the shadow on the eyeballs here to make them look round, to make them look 3D. So I'm going in with the lightest warm grey that I have, just to lay down that base colour, and then that actually looks darker than what it will end up. So do any of you guys use markers? Yeah, I'd bring them on with about 60 minutes as well. And you'll probably notice that whenever I'm concentrating and doing things like this, I always stick my tongue out. My wife laughs her head off at me every time I do. Doesn't matter what I'm doing. So have any of you guys actually had a chance yet to use the this new paper from Aliona Nicholson, the Lux paper? And I forgot to tell you, Val, after Vicky watched a few of your videos on the pyro burning thing that you do, she went out and bought a kit. I mean, she bought 3 in the end, because the first 2 that she got were really bad and didn't do a great job, and so she bought a slightly more expensive one, and she does lots of little projects with the kids in nursery, because she works in a nursery, and she's bought like loads of little wood discs, and they do their names on them and stuff like that. But Vicky loves it. She absolutely loves it. You see, I would love to try the Prismacolor markers, but over here in the UK, they are either really difficult to get hold of, or they're super expensive. Like a 24 set, you're talking about maybe £80 or £90 for 24 markers. Which, because I don't know the quality of the Prismacolor markers, I don't know whether that's a reasonable price. But when I look on sites in America, I see that they're much cheaper, and I know that's going to be the case because that's where they're from. But I would need to try a couple out yet first before I took the plunge with buying something like that. Yeah, crystal alcohol markers are really easy to blend. The thing about, see, I get a lot of questions about which is the best marker, because I've done a lot of Art and Fly reviews, and I've done Spectrum Noir, Style File, and I've got a lot of Winsor & Newton markers here that I have to do a review on yet. And the thing about all the other brands over Copic is that not very many of the other brands have really, really pale colours, like this warm grey. So it's like, let me see if that focuses in first of all. Come on, focus. That's it anyway. It's W00, so it's like basically just alcohol. There's very little pigment in it. And when I first started starting out in markers, I used to think to myself, well, what is the point in that? But those really muted colours do help when it comes to blending, and you don't find very many of those muted colours in the other sets. But then again, the downside of that with Copic is there's like 358 colours in the full Copic range, and that's not including if you wanted to then go out and get the Copic original markers, because you know you're going to have to buy them just to get the different nib. Val, I'm not too sure what burning kit it was that Vicky ended up with. She has it in work at the minute. I think she spent about £100 and something on it. The first two that she bought, they were only like £30 or £40, and we kind of knew that they were going to be like not very not just generally not very good, but they were terrible. So she went and spent a little bit more money, and she got a lot more enjoyment out of it. Hi, that guy. Oh, thank you very much. I'm really pleased that you enjoy the videos and that you can get something from them. No, I've never tried the call art markers. I've not actually seen them. I'll have a look about. Like, you might get them on eBay or something like that. Yeah, I'd heard that Sharpies have some, you could get Sharpies with brush markers. I know Sharpies have lots and lots of different types of tips and stuff like that, but again, here in the UK, we don't really tend to see a lot of the variation that Sharpie have. You go to like Tesco's, like a shopping centre here in the UK, you see like the big boxes of Sharpies and stuff, but they don't, there's not a lot of variation in them. I mean, Krista, Amelia's doing a little bit better. She is doing a little bit better. For those of you that aren't really aware, our youngest daughter Amelia, she was bullied for about 2.5 years when she went into high school, and Vicky and I, we would occasionally go. She would tell us about it when she came home and stuff like that. It wasn't like she kind of suffered in silence. We would go up to the school and speak to the school about it, but the school is one of the best schools in Durham. And as a result, they're more about peer support and stuff like that, and in other words, getting other kids to help other kids who have got issues. And we found out only quite recently that one of the reasons how Amelia ended up getting bullied was because there were other kids that were coming into the school from broken homes. And at that time, Amelia was only like 12, 13. And she had never, obviously, she'd never experienced that. Vicky and I have always been together. We've never had separation or anything like that. And so she wasn't really sure what was going on. And so what the school did was, and a lot of schools here in the UK do this, for the children that were struggling at home with certain issues, they would buddy them up with the kid who didn't have any issues at home. And so they would expect this kid who didn't have issues at home to therefore somehow buffer the other child. The only problem about that is you're talking about kids. They're not mentally, they're not mental health trained or anything like that. They don't know the signs to look out for, and nobody told us about it as parents, because we could have then, when Amelia was coming home, we could have said to her, listen, just because her mum and dad aren't together, that doesn't mean anything really. Her mum and dad still love her, that type of thing. We could have sat down and explained all that to Amelia, but because we weren't aware of this, Amelia wasn't equipped, and neither were any of the other kids equipped to deal with helping kids like that. And it wasn't her job. She was there to learn. She was there to get education, not to counsel other kids. And that was kind of like the catalyst of how the bullying took place, really. And then it just got to the point where Amelia refused to go into school. She didn't want to go into school. She was frightened. She didn't want to go out or anything like that. Hi, Joyce. So she didn't want to go out, and she basically hid herself in her bedroom, and then her behaviour started getting really, really bad, and so her behaviour in the home started going downhill really, really badly, and because Amelia thought that she, in order to help some of these other kids some of these other kids that were experiencing problems, it wasn't. For some of them, it wasn't as simple as just their parents weren't together. For some of them, it was quite severe. What problems they were experiencing from home, and Amelia ended up thinking that there was something wrong with her, that her family were the ones that weren't doing things right, and so she would then start coming home and really badly kicking off. But we ended up getting her into a system over here in the UK called CAMHS, which Child Adult Mental Health Service. So it's the acronym is CAMHS, CAMHS. And Joyce, you're from Dallas, Texas. We knew a family who came over here, and their daughter was good friends with our eldest daughter, and she lived in Sugar Land in Texas. Do you know where that is? I think it's called Sugar Land. We used to think it was quite funny that it was called Sugarland. I think it's quite a religious area, a Bible Belt area, I think. But yeah, so Amelia's behaviour was getting really bad. Anyway, we took her to this place, CAMHS, where she had support from a so-called therapist, and things didn't really improve that much. And then I was talking to somebody online about this, and we got a bit of a donation to be able to take her into private care, because private care over here, we have the NHS, which is free at the point of your health care. We say it's free, but everybody that works, a little bit of money comes out of your wages every month for the NHS, and but you don't always get the best type of care. If you go private, the care is a lot better, and that's what we did. And since we've gone private, the care that she's been getting and the results that we are seeing has been better. She's on medication, unfortunately, which we tried to avoid, obviously for obvious reasons. But right now, as things stand right now, she had to be on medication to bring her down to a level where when the therapist was talking to her, she was going to be able to listen. Hi, George. Yeah. I try to keep the titles really specific. I don't want I don't want to create titles that bring people here falsely. What do you call it? Clickbait. Um, to be quite honest with you, I should have prepared more for this, but I didn't realise that my wife was going out tonight with her friends for a meal until about midday. And so I thought, right, everybody's out, the kids are out, my wife's out, so I'm going to try and put on a live stream. Yeah, you're right, Files. Medications on some occasions is necessary, um, and very much on this occasion it really has been. They started her off on like a small dose, and then they built it up, and unfortunately she's quite close to the maximum dose that a kid of her age can have on it, which is, again, it's not ideal, but hopefully it's just something that it's just going to be a temporary measure until the therapist who's with her can talk to her and stuff like that. You see, I'm kind of old school. I don't believe in all this therapy stuff, and I think sometimes, especially kids of my kids' generations, they're kind of like mollycoddled, and I'll be the first to admit that I've mollycoddled my kids, but I don't know, schools and stuff. I'll give you an example of some of the schools here in the UK, of how they are now. If a child puts its hand up in the classroom and says, Miss or Mr, I feel sad, so that kid can walk out of the classroom, go to the library, sit by themselves, or go to the library and take two friends with them to the library. So essentially, what it does is it creates resentment and division. If those girls are in a group of, say, 5 or 6, then 2 or 3 other girls are left out when this group go off. But more importantly, the kids that are taken out of the classroom, the parents the parents aren't consulted about this, so these kids are losing education time just because some other kid is putting their hand up and saying that they feel sad. There's no... You know what, Guy? I've been talking to Amelia a lot lately, and the amount of people that I've had from this community like reach out and ask about her, or send well wishes and stuff like that, has been absolutely unbelievable. And when I told her about that, she didn't believe me, and then I showed her some of the like private messages and emails that I get, and she was absolutely blown away. She couldn't believe that all these people who don't really know her at all were thinking about her and hoping that she got better and stuff like that. And it really did help her, actually. Unfortunately, we found, or my wife discovered, that she had been cutting herself as well. Just because she's at such a low ebb. And that was when I showed her the messages from other people, because I didn't want her thinking that... I didn't want her to think that she was worthless, which is what she thinks she is at the minute. And when I showed her these emails and messages and stuff like that, she was really, really quite overwhelmed. Yeah, Kelly, I mean, you see, whenever, I don't want this to be too morbid of a live stream. Whenever I came out of the army, whenever I had my injury and I came out of the army, I was the lowest that I have ever been in my life. I had lost my career. There's so many other things. I knew I wouldn't be able to go and get a job. If I had left the army by choice, I'd have joined the police or the fire service, something like that. I knew that those options were completely gone, and I just didn't think that I'd ever be able to support my family or be the proper dad or husband that I wanted to be. And I was so... I mean, it just got really, really low for me. And I ended up having to take medication. I took quite an old medication, amitriptyline, and I took and it was quite heavy doses as well. But it did help me, mind you, not as much as what starting all this has helped. The art and stuff like that has been absolutely unbelievable for me. Yeah, Louise. I wasn't initially. I wasn't going to show her any of the comments or anything like that, because I wasn't sure how I should react. But when my wife told me that she had gone into her room and found all these marks on her arms where she'd been cutting herself, I just wanted to do something. Thank you, Joyce. This whole art thing, that was the initial reason why I started it. Was my eldest daughter, who was doing art, had said that she thought it might help me in some way, and even if it didn't help, it would help me pass the time of day. But obviously it done a lot more than that for me, which is why I when I'm talking to a lot of people about this type of thing, I say to them how amazing art has been, and the community as well, which is why I'm always really eager to try and do giveaways and things like that, because what I get out of this is unbelievable. I get much more out of this than I think you guys get out of it. You two, I had a lot of really bad side effects with amitriptyline. I stuttered an awful lot. I was always thirsty, and I and when I first started taking it, I put on so much weight because I would waken up at like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I would have like big bars of chocolate. I had this terrible craving for chocolate, and I personally hate dark chocolate. But when I first started taking amitriptyline, the darker the chocolate, the better. And I was I put on an awful lot of weight when I was on that. Yeah, you're right, Joyce. Art is therapeutic. Do you know what I think? I think one of the reasons why I think art helps people who have got low EBS or mental health or things like that. Obviously, certain people. Um, is because when I sit down at my desk and I have all these markers and pencils and all the rest of it out, I'm surrounded by colour, and I think that I read somewhere that for people that are addicted to gambling, like slot machines and things like that, one of the things that they're attracted to is the colourful lights on the slot machines, and it releases certain endorphins in them to keep them coming back. It's kind of like a moth butterfly effect to a light type of thing. And I think that that's a similar type thing for people who are low and upset and depressed and stuff like that with art. If you're surrounded by bright colours all day, I think it has a effect on you mentally. Obviously, I don't know if that's the truth. I'm not a mental health expert by no stretch of the imagination, but I think that's how it works with me. Oh, right. Is that what it was, Val? That is really interesting. Because I had a sweet tooth when I was growing up and stuff like that. And when I was in the army and I was doing my training, I used to eat loads of dime bars, which is like a butterscotch thing covered in chocolate. If you don't get it in America, I'm not too sure. Um, and I craved those when I was going through training, but that's because I was like, my towards the end of my training, I was like feeling really weak and low and stuff like that. Um, so yeah, that actually makes sense. But like when I was on the amitriptyline, I was just couldn't believe it. Like I would actually waken up and go and get chocolate. I had a chocolate stash in the house. Vicky opened the cupboard one day and all these chocolate bars fell out. She couldn't believe it. Yeah, I find writing very therapeutic as well. When I sit down and write a review, uh, I I sometimes have to pull myself back actually because I would just sit and write all day. And it's really strange because I have dyslexia and I find spelling and things like that really, really difficult. Um, and getting my grammar right, but I just enjoy um, the writing side of things. Oh, hi Nancy, I didn't even know you were in the chat room. Lovely to see you. We were just talking about Amelia there a little while ago. No, Crystal, I've never used oil pastels. I've looked at the Caran d'Ache Neocolor 1, is it? Yeah, because the Neocolor 2 is the water soluble crayons. But I've always looked at them, and I've seen some of the videos that Caran d'Ache put up as to what you can do with them and that type of thing. And I just don't think I'm creative enough to do something with them. What about you? Have you used oil pastels? She's doing okay, Nancy. She's I was just saying there. She's out tonight with two of her friends. I'm in the house by myself. Vicky's out with the girls from work. They're having like a late Christmas dinner thing, and my son, Jude, he's gone to the gym, and Neve, our eldest daughter, she's been working like you wouldn't believe, and she's gone into Newcastle with one of her friends. My dyslexia is really quite mild. My eldest daughter's dyslexia is quite severe, but she fought like hell when she was going through school that it wasn't going to hinder her, and she got a B, I think it was, in her GCSE English literature, and then she actually took English A level and she got an A for it. She just wasn't going to let it beat her. But for me, when I was a kid, I used to have a thing called what my teachers called mirror writing. So I would get my M's and my W's, my lowercase b's and lowercase d's round the wrong way, and certain numbers as well. I would get them mixed up, like P's and G's and things like that. I would get mixed up, and my spelling, as a result of it, my spelling was atrocious. But my spelling did get better when I had kids, because I would sit down and do their homeworks with them, and so I was taking myself right back to kid level work, and it helped me. And also as well, when we found out Neve was dyslexic, when they done like brought in an educational psychologist to test her, and they found that out, Vicky went to a night school to learn how to help Neve with her homeworks and stuff like that at home from a dyslexic point of view. And so Vicky helped me as well, because when I was learning how to spell at school, we didn't learn by sounds. Here in the UK, the kids learned how to spell by the sounds of letters and things like that. We didn't do that, and that seemed to help me a little bit. Yeah, thanks, Crystal. I mean, my range of vocabulary and stuff like that has definitely improved, but like I say, that has primarily been through sitting down with the kids when they came home from school and doing homeworks with them and reading and stuff like that. So I was so that really helped me. It helped me with spelling. It helped me with my range of vocabulary and stuff like that, and it also helped with my grammar. My grammar isn't the best, like and punctuation, things like that, making sure that I put the right punctuation in. Where when I was at school, my teachers gave up on me because I just couldn't get anything, which was one of the reasons why I just gave up on school as well. And as far as I was concerned, I was going to the army. I knew I was going to go to the army from the age of about 5 or 6, and in my naive head back then, I didn't need to be smart to be shot. So as far as I was concerned, school was a waste of time, which was one of the reasons why homeworks and school and stuff like that was so important for Vicky and I with the kids, to make sure that they didn't at some point in their life develop the same lunacy that I did when I was a kid, because it just wouldn't wash. Cheers, Guy. Absolutely. I've done I really wanted to do like improve on my portraiture work, and when I done that Nick and Nate Diaz portrait drawing not that long ago of the two UFC brothers who fight, I was actually really impressed with that, and so I thought to myself, I wonder, could I do something like a portraiture of Mo Salah or somebody like that. So I'm going to try that one day, see how it goes. Alright, I'm going to start the skin here, so okay, this may not show up that well because it's I'm going to be doing the light areas. We'll have to see. Thank you, Crystal. So how are you guys all doing? Are any of you working on a project at the minute? I know Val is, because Val's always doing something with her biography work. The stuff that lady does with those burning kits is just phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. No, Guy, I don't think he will. I think he's going to keep that to... I think he's going to make a statement. And to be quite honest with you, I don't blame him. Mind you, I think that they should have killed the game off against Shrewsbury, because they had enough senior players there in that squad to do it. But they're probably shattered at the minute. I want to do... I've just seen there, Joyce says she loves Woody because it's one of her favourite characters. I want to do a really nice Lady and the Tramp drawing, because that's my mum's favourite like Disney movie, and I would like to do something really nice like that for her. Oh, but I hope you get better soon, Crystal. I've heard loads of people been really run down lately. And this virus from China as well. Yeah, they did. Yeah, yeah, guy. They did lay off in the second half. Um, I love doing that, Joyce. Putting all the pencils and stuff like that in the back into order. Yeah, Val does wood burning. Its proper name is Pyography, I think it is. But you should check out Val's YouTube channel if you don't already know Val and what she does. It's absolutely stunning, the work that she does. Absolutely stunning. And her partner Jason as well also does a lot of excellent art as well. I don't think he does burning as much. It's more painting. Jason does, but Val has a really excellent channel. Thing is, when you're doing any art, I suppose, it's not just marker. The as you're going through it, it always has that stage where it just looks terrible, and you think to yourself, "Oh my goodness, I think I'm gonna have to stop here because this just looks ridiculous." Um, and I think that's the stage I'm at the minute. Oh, flipping heck. Yeah, Crystal, the wood burnings. I mean, like, when you look at watch Val's channel, you'll ask yourself, like, how on earth does she do it? Um, I think she's still working on a portraiture, a self portraiture at the minute. And when you look at it and you think to yourself, "My, this is done with like just burning stuff in the wood," really is phenomenal. Yeah, you won't be able to see the lines very well because they're all erased out. Because I'm going in with marker at the minute, so um, they're all blowing out at the minute, really. It'll probably start coming in a little bit better now. I'm putting colour down, and the colour that I'm putting down as well is skin tones. It's very, very light skin tones, so um, yeah, Crystal, I agree with you. I think especially coloured pencils. Um, Obviously, I've only been like drawing with coloured pencils for a short period of time, but when I listen to other artists who have been using coloured pencils much longer, and those types of artists as well that would go to like enter their work into competitions, they say as well that they've noticed a huge change in attitude towards coloured pencil artists, whereas before they would maybe have other artists like oil painting artists or something like that that kind of snub them a little bit because of the medium that they were using, which is obviously never a good thing. But I would definitely say, according to what a lot of those artists are saying, coloured pencils are much more acceptable by the, I don't know what you would call them, the artist elite, I suppose, the ones that use oil paintings and acrylics, that type of thing. Um, yeah, the adult colouring book group of people as well. When I, because a lot of people snub their nose at them as well, say that they're not artists because they're just colouring in, that type of thing. I'm kind of the opposite of that. I think that a lot of the people that are using adult colouring books, the work that they are able to do is just absolutely phenomenal. Really, really outstanding work.
Oh.
Alright, I'm just on this live stream, son.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. It's alright. Have you been to the gym?
Yeah.
Everything go okay?
Yeah. I got some chips, so I'm not too hungry.
Okay. Wait, if you need anything, just shout down and
I'll probably just get some peanuts and raisins or something.
Alright. Okay, well there's loads of stuff in there.
Yeah, I know.
Mum done all the shopping yesterday.
Alright, let's see what you can.
I'm just
Woody.
doing Woody at the minute. Woody.
Toy Story 4 has been real good anime. Graphics and stuff, really good. I forget who I watched it with.
Was it not banned?
Wait. I reckon Dan was probably there because normally I watch movies with Dan.
Do you just check and see if he wants out some, will you?
Yeah, he does. I'll turn him
Right, okay. Crystal, I'm sure, you know what, I'm sure you have quite a lot to offer actually, because whenever I first started doing this, when I first started doing my reviews, all I would do is like demonstrate the pencils and you know, show what they look like on certain papers and stuff like that. And a lot of people would say to enhance your reviews, you should maybe do some art with them, demonstrate them, that type of thing. And I was really, really reluctant to do this because I really didn't think that I had a lot to offer. But once I started doing it and I seen the response from the community and stuff like that, it was fantastic. And I think that's another thing about this community as well. When people give critique and what have you, although they're honest, they don't do it in a nasty, vindictive way. There's a lot of empathy and stuff like that involved in a lot of the critiquing that happens, which I think is excellent. Because if you're a new artist just starting out and you're looking for help on your artwork, the last thing you're going to want is somebody being really, really nasty towards the stuff that you're doing. Bye. I can't pronounce your name there, sorry. Is it Efigenie? Sorry, I can't pronounce your name, sorry. No, I didn't even do art at school. I used to draw occasionally, but not anything really to write home about. Yeah. I'm not going to say that that art school and stuff like that doesn't do much, because I probably get myself into a lot of trouble. But my daughter, when she was at school doing art, she was very, very frustrated with the restrictions that were placed on her. Like, she wasn't able to draw certain things the way she, in the style that she wanted to draw, and her teacher kept saying to her, you know, you've got to do it this way in order for you to get the kind of grades that you want. And she just found it really, really frustrating. And she always used to come home and say to me, like, you know, that art is supposed to be subjective, it's supposed to be about... But I suppose when you're learning the trade, and you're learning from somebody who's done art for a long time, maybe you have to put aside your artistic freedom and just learn. I don't know. But I've heard a lot of people say that as well. I've heard a lot of people say that they didn't get much from art school. When it came down to it, they developed their art and their techniques much, much better when they were doing it on their own. Yeah, you see, Crystal, that's a perfect example of what is possibly wrong with art classes. An art teacher's telling somebody else in the colouring book community that they can't use gesso. Yeah, Louise, I'm the same. I've learned so much more from watching YouTube videos and artists on YouTube than what I ever could have done at school, I think. In terms of art, anyway. But I'm sure there are people that have gone to university or college, whatever, to do art, and have done exceptionally well at what they've been taught. How long have I been on here for? Right, guys, I'm going to call this a night because I've been on for over an hour and a half and I don't want to bore you to death. So thank you so much to everybody joining in on the live stream. I really appreciate it. I'll keep putting photos and things like that up of this drawing as it progresses on, and hopefully I'll get a chance to speak to Val later on tonight and sort out the settings on this so that future live streams will be a little bit better quality and stuff like that. So Thanks, Crystal. Right, guys, thank you so much for stopping by. I look forward to seeing you again on the next live stream. I'll put out the notification. Hopefully, a little bit, give you a little bit more time, because I think I only done it about half an hour before the live stream started. So I'll try and do it a little bit further in advance. I'll see you later, Nancy. Thank you so much, everybody. Yeah, Gary, go on Liverpool. I'll speak to you all later. Bye.